Have you ever wondered what has led Jackson, Mississippi to its current state? Picture a city steeped in history, now grappling with a surge in violence, a dwindling population, and an escalating water crisis. Imagine the challenges faced by its leadership, attempting to steer Jackson's course amidst a sea of systemic issues. These elements form a puzzle, a question. What happened to Jackson? How did it find itself on this path? To answer these questions, we need to delve into the past. So let us take a step back in time and understand the journey. The year 2021 marked a turning point for Jackson, with a record-breaking number of homicides. The city found itself in the throes of a surge in gun violence, an alarming trend that saw 150 homicides reported by December 21st. This grim figure translated into a staggering homicide rate of 97.6 per 100,000 residents, a number that soared significantly above the national average. This spike in violence didn't just appear out of the blue. It was a storm that had been brewing, its winds gaining momentum during the COVID-19 pandemic. As the virus wreaked havoc on communities, it also exposed and exacerbated Jackson's deep-rooted social and political issues, laying bare the city's vulnerabilities. The pandemic's impact on community institutions and social services was far-reaching. Schools, churches, and community centers, the very foundations of society that once provided stability and a sense of community, found themselves grappling with unprecedented challenges. These disruptions in the societal fabric, coupled with the city's ongoing struggles with systemic issues, created a perfect storm for violence to thrive. Efforts to address this crisis were met with resistance. A temporary ban on the open carry of firearms, proposed as a potential solution to curb the violence, faced opposition. Despite the city's best efforts, this measure, among others, failed to stem the rising tide of violence. The city was caught in a cycle it couldn't seem to break free from. As the violence escalated, the societal issues that had fed into it also worsened, creating a vicious circle that threatened to consume the city. Despite efforts to curb the violence, the city continued to struggle. The rising homicide rate was a stark reminder of the challenges that lay ahead for Jackson, a city caught in the crosshairs of societal unrest and political upheaval. But the woes of Jackson didn't stop at the rising crime rates. Indeed, a city that once buzzed with vitality and charm began to see a significant population decline. The reasons behind this fall were many, and they were complex. One factor was the devastating water crises that plagued the city. Imagine a city where a basic necessity like water became a luxury. The water systems in Jackson were failing, and the city's infrastructure was woefully underprepared to tackle the problem. This led to a catastrophic collapse of the city's water systems, leaving residents without access to clean, safe drinking water for extended periods. Now consider the economic aspect. Jackson was facing a sluggish economic growth. The city, once a hub of commerce and industry, was struggling to keep up with the changing economic landscape. Jobs were scarce, opportunities few, and the promise of prosperity seemed like a distant dream. And then there were the natural disasters. Jackson, like many other cities in the region, was no stranger to the wrath of Mother Nature. Hurricanes, floods, and other calamities wreaked havoc on the city, further exacerbating the already grim situation. Adding to the city's troubles was the rise of remote work trends. As more people opted for the flexibility of working from home, cities like Jackson, with high housing costs and limited amenities, saw a significant population loss. But the decline wasn't just about the numbers. Each person leaving Jackson represented a story untold, a dream unfulfilled, a potential unrealized. Families, businesses, communities, all were affected by the exodus. Schools saw dwindling student numbers, local businesses faced a shrinking customer base, and neighborhoods became ghost towns. And so, the city that was once a symbol of Southern charm and resilience was slowly losing its vibrancy, its spirit, and most importantly, its people. The once bustling city of Jackson was losing its citizens at an alarming rate. In 2022, a catastrophic collapse of the city's water system added fuel to the fire. This calamity, far from being an isolated incident, was a chilling reminder of the deep-rooted problems affecting Jackson, Mississippi. This wasn't just about the pipes that burst or the water that stopped flowing. It was about the systems in place, the decisions made, and the people affected. The water crisis brought to the forefront the political tensions simmering beneath the surface. Jackson's mayor, Chokwe Antar Lumumba, found himself in the eye of the storm, facing criticism from the state's Republican governor, Tate Reeves. Lumumba's request for $47 million for emergency infrastructure improvements was a stark testament to the magnitude of the crisis. However, it also highlighted the long-standing animosity between the primarily black Democratic leaders of Jackson and the mostly white Republican leaders of Mississippi. As the city's water woes deepened, questions arose about the leadership's ability to navigate such a disaster. Critics pointed fingers at Lumumba, questioning whether his progressive agenda, framed in terms of racial justice, was diverting attention from the city's most pressing issues. Yet, it's important to remember that Lumumba's leadership was not only under scrutiny for the water crisis. The city was grappling with systemic issues, including high crime rates, education gaps, and infrastructure failures. The water crisis in many ways became a mirror reflecting the city's struggles. It revealed the challenges faced by a city on the brink, struggling with poverty, crime, and a dwindling population. It raised questions about the city's ability to handle its systemic issues, and it served as a stark reminder of the need for effective leadership and robust infrastructure to ensure a city's growth and survival. The water crisis raised questions about the city's ability to handle its systemic issues. It brought to light the fact that the survival of a city is not just about its economy or its population, but also about its ability to provide basic amenities to its citizens. And in Jackson, Mississippi, this was a question that was becoming increasingly difficult to answer. Amidst these crises, the leadership of Jackson came under intense scrutiny. As the city wrestled with escalating crime rates, population decline, and a water crisis, all eyes turned to the man at the helm, Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba. He found himself in a complex conundrum, caught between the desperate needs of his city and the harsh criticism from state leaders. Lumumba's leadership style was a unique blend of progressive ideals and radical visions. His agenda, framed around racial justice, was ambitious. Yet it was met with resistance from the predominantly white Republican leaders of Mississippi, adding another layer of tension to an already strained scenario. As the city's water system collapsed, Lumumba requested a staggering $47 million for emergency infrastructure improvements. This plea for help intensified the animosity between Jackson's primarily black Democratic leaders and the state's Republican governor Tate Reeves. The unfolding crisis put Lumumba's leadership under the microscope, raising questions about his ability to steer the city through its challenges. However, the water crisis was just the tip of the iceberg. Jackson was grappling with systemic issues that extended beyond infrastructure. The city was beleaguered by high crime rates and poor education systems, both of which were rooted in deep-seated social and political issues. These challenges were not born overnight, nor could they be resolved in a day. They required a comprehensive, long-term strategy, something that seemed elusive in the current political climate. The city's leadership, while striving to address these issues, faced an uphill battle. Their efforts were often stymied by opposition and criticism, leaving them in a constant state of firefighting rather than proactive problem-solving. This reactive approach did little to curb the city's decline, further fueling the criticism against them. As Jackson continued its struggle, the leadership's role became a significant point of discussion. Their ability, or perceived inability, to effectively address the city's issues became a central theme in the narrative of Jackson's decline. The leadership's struggle to address these issues has been a significant factor in Jackson's current state. One thing was clear: the road to recovery would be long and arduous, and the leadership would play a crucial role in shaping Jackson's future. The journey of Jackson, Mississippi, from a bustling city to its current state, has been filled with challenges. We've explored the rise in homicides that began during the pandemic, a tragic surge that shattered previous records and left the city grappling with deep-seated social and political issues. The city's struggle to curb the violence has been a significant factor in its journey. We've also discussed the population decline, where Jackson topped the list of shrinking US cities. Economic stagnation, natural disasters, and the ensuing water crisis have all played their part in this decline. The city's water system collapse, a catastrophic event that called into question the city's preparedness and responsibility, has been a critical point in this narrative. The leadership conundrum, with Mayor Lumumba's progressive agenda facing scrutiny amidst high poverty rates and infrastructure failures, has been another significant aspect of Jackson's journey. It has highlighted the tension between the city's predominantly black Democratic leadership and the state's largely white Republican leaders, adding another layer to the city's challenges. As we ponder the future of Jackson, we can only hope that the lessons learnt from its past will guide it towards a better tomorrow.